Get ready to get inspired. This is the Go for the Goldie podcast.
Hello, welcome. It is Friday, September 11th, 2020. Another edition of the Go for the Goldie podcast. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. We have Ashley Cole, a Twitch affiliate specializing in Dead by Daylight, but also a variety streamer as well, with her cat, Gotham. Ashley, how are you today?
I am very good. How about you?
Oh, I'm just doing excellent. Thanks for hopping on the show today. Really appreciate you taking your Friday to hang out with us here.
Of course. I appreciate you wanting me on.
Yeah, well, let's get to know Ashley today. So, like I told you, when I first reached out to you, I don't have any pre-questions or anything like that. So we're just going to chat. So first of all, congratulations on your recent Twitch affiliate-ness, I guess you would call it, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's how I came across your profile. I kind of lurk on Twitter for people who become Twitch affiliates, because I think when you get someone who just becomes a Twitch affiliate, that's like peak excitement and enthusiasm, and that really comes out in your Twitter profile and in your Twitter feed. So I was like, man, she'll be good to talk to. And to be honest with you, I know nothing about the game that you play. So, yeah, I'd love to learn about that. And the people that listen to the show, I'm sure, would like to listen about that as well. So I guess to get started here, let's talk about how you got to become a Twitch affiliate. When did you get involved in Twitch? We'll get into your gaming in a second, but just Twitch specifically. When did you really start streaming?
I went full force about 8-9 months ago.
Okay.
I would diddle here and there, kind of mess with it, and then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go full force, see what I can do.
Now, did you become a streamer before you started playing this game, or after? Were you playing the game, and then you're like, you know what, let's hop on Twitch and do it? Or did you I like the idea of Twitch, and I'm going to pick a game and go all in with that?
I knew the game beforehand. I would have full-length conversations about how annoying the game was, and my friends would just start busting up laughing. I'm like, we're gonna stream this.
Very cool. Now, Dead by Daylight. I know we'll get into your, you said you're a variety streamer as well, so we'll talk about that in a second. But I always find it interesting when I ask a Twitch affiliate, what games do you play, or how do you want to be presented? Because it's kind of like I'm giving away how the sausage is made here, but it's kind of a tell. You know what I mean? Sure, yeah. I'm sure you love the other games that you stream, but once you say your first one, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drill her on that game, because obviously that's the first one that she told me is the top of mind.
Yeah.
So Dead by Daylight, explain it a little bit. I have no idea what that is.
So it's a survival game. The basis of it is you're trapped in a little map, and you have to work on generators while a killer is chasing after you.
Okay.
The killer can hook you, moor you, be done. But the main goal of the game is fix 5 generators and get the hell out.
Now, is it like an RPG style, or is it like a first-person shooter kind of thing, or what kind of game is it?
More like a third person, I would say.
Okay.
You see yourself working on the generator, you see yourself running away from the killer.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that sounds pretty thrilling. That's like a edge of your seat kind of game, right?
Yeah, it's kind of scary having Michael Myers on your ass.
Now, what system do you play it on?
I am on Xbox at the moment.
You know what? It's overwhelming enough to start your own stream, let alone, that whole world of Discord. But I always wonder about that, because some people don't have any Discord or care to have one. You know what I mean? They keep it strictly Twitch. So I like hearing other people's opinions on all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm unfortunately one of those people that I'm trying to learn Discord, and so when I stream, my friend has a whole channel Discord, and I posted in what I think I was supposed to post it in, and she'll call me. She's like, girl, you're supposed to post it in this link. I'm like, I don't know. Don't hate me. It said Twitch, so I was like, okay, I'm going to Twitch.
It's like a combination of like, it seems like it's kind of like Twitter, but Slack. If you've ever used Slack before. Yeah, it's.
No.
Okay, well, I never have either. So my fiance does, so that's why I use it because I see her and I look. But anyway, yeah, it's we sound like old people. We're like, damn technology.
Sometimes I barely know how to use Twitter.
Sometimes I barely know how to turn on the damn computer. I'm like, where's the power button? Come on.
Exactly.
So let's get to know a little about, we talked about your Twitch and how you kind of got to where you got to, currently. How about you as a person? So you said Sacramento's where you live now. Is that where you're from?
That's where I'm from. I live in Rockland, California, which is about 30 minutes up from Sacramento.
Now, are you dealing with any of the wildfires? I know that's probably an annoying question that you get all the time, so I'm sorry, but
No, I have a fire that's probably about hour and a half away from me. I'm not affected by it, but my goodness, I can't see outside.
Really?
Yeah, it is so cloudy and just smoky. Yeah, it's bad.
So I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I just did to you what I hate what people do to me. Like everyone, whenever I say I'm from New York, they're always like, "Oh, I love Manhattan," or Brooklyn's so cool, and I'm like, "Well, I'm 7 hours from that." So yeah. So I just did the same thing to you, so I apologize.
No, you're totally fine.
That's wild. So when you go outside, is it like ashy, or is it like orange, or what's it look like?
It is so bad. I'm almost convinced I'm in Silent Hill.
That's terrifying. Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
bad.
Well, hopefully it doesn't, kind of get your way. Do you think there's any danger that coming your way?
I don't think so. I hope not. Knock on wood.
Yeah, geez. Everyone out there, knock on wood.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if it does come my way, there is going to be a lot of devastation before it hits my place. Because between me and the fire, there's multiple communities out there.
Jeez. Well, hopefully, hopefully they get that under control. I know I'm in Frisco, Texas. It's just north of Dallas, and I saw a bunch of our firefighters just went out west to help fight them out there. So, once the Texans get involved, it's serious.
Exactly.
So, you grew up in Sacramento, and that's where you're from, you said?
Yeah, that is where I'm from.
Okay, and you said you have 2 jobs. So what do you do for a living?
So my first job, I am a respite worker.
A what?
A respite worker.
Okay, make fun of me. I'm a moron. I don't know what that is.
No, actually, a lot of people don't know it. The blanket term is I'm a caregiver.
Okay, gotcha.
But respite, we work more towards people that have disabilities, like unfortunately autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, paraplegic. We just help them throughout the day, keep them company. It's kind of like hospice mixed with caregiving. We just can't administer medications, and we can't lift them, but I enjoy it.
That's some real meaningful work right there. Damn.
Yeah. Then day and night, my second job, I work at Walmart.
No, what are you laughing at? That's great. Yeah. Especially, do you get a discount working at Walmart?
Not yet, because I just started. But I will be getting a discount.
I mean, it's already discounted. I shop at Walmart all the time. I love it. To get a discount on the discount, let's go.
I got lucky enough. I am in the online grocery shopping part, so nobody really sees me. I'm picking out the groceries for people that bought online, and I'm back in the back, delivering it to them.
You're like Batman. That's why you named your cat Gotham. There you go. It all makes sense. It's all coming together.
Yeah, it's a circle.
It is, yeah. So you just started at Walmart, you said?
Yes, about 2 weeks ago.
So, damn. So a typical day for you is 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. And you're figuring out the time to stream enough to become a Twitch affiliate.
And another part that I kind of try to keep private. I also have a child, a 3-year-old.
Holy cow. You are killing it. You're killing life. Wow.
I'm trying my best.
Man, that's why I'll tell you. So the reason for this podcast, so this started out as a podcast where I interview semi-pro and amateur athletes. So these are athletes who perform at the highest levels of sports, from around the world. I interviewed a guy who I met on Twitch who got into inline speed skating when he was 40 years old. And yeah, and this dude, you can go back and look at the cover photo. His quads look like they're fake. They're enormous. And so, like, he's an inspirational guy. Came in third place at the national championships. I interviewed a guy who I met through triathlon. He does duathlon, it's called. He won the national championships for his age group, which is incredible. There's a game called Can Jam. I don't know if you've ever seen it. They look like garbage cans with a slot in it, and you throw a frisbee at them. It's a team game. It's really cool.
Okay.
It's kind of like a backyard kind of game, but they have a world championships for it. And I interviewed the two guys who won the world championships for it. But that's how this podcast got started. I was interviewing those types of people because if you're a semi-pro or amateur athlete, obviously that's not your full-time job. So,
right.
It's kind of like digging into the world of people who are doing things at a very high level that, have to sustain a living, but doing that on the side, and then
Right.
once I got into Twitch, I was like, well, I can stream this on the podcast or on Twitch, and then I thought, then when I started seeing my Twitter start to shift to like mostly Twitch people, saying, hey, I got Twitch affiliate. There's a lot of parallels. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're working your ass off. Without Twitch, you still got your hands full, and that's where the idea to start interviewing Twitch affiliates really came into play, because I think there's a lot of parallels between, semi-pro and amateur athletes competing at really high levels and making a Twitch channel and finding the time to do it at a high level where you become an affiliate, where people enjoy your streams and want to come and watch you and support you. So kudos to you. That's why I love meeting people like you, because that's a really cool story, and it's a feel good story. People like that,
Thank you.
Hopefully we can get you some more followers after this, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. So what's a typical day look like for if you're working 2 jobs and you're twitching?
So I wake up.
Okay.
Wishing
Good.
I could go back to sleep. I take care of my kid until it is time to go to work. Then I take my kid to whoever can watch him for the day. And then I'm working for 8 hours at Walmart. I get home, get him to bed, get myself to bed, do the whole process. But the next day I do respite and back and forth.
That's a wild schedule. That's crazy. You should do, you ever do any streams with your kid? Just exploit your kid, man. Exploit your kid. People love kids. Let's go.
So right now he's 3. He's nonverbal, and he was diagnosed with autism. He was born prematurely. So
it's a good thing you have a lot of experience on a day-to-day basis with that, right? It's
Exactly.
Interesting how life finds a way to work itself out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't incorporate him on purpose, but like
That makes sense.
you'll hear him running through the house sounding like Tarzan, and the people love it because he's nonverbal, so he'll just go around the house, and people are like, "When did you get Tarzan?"
3-year-olds, a lot of energy, right? It's, well, that's very cool. I mean, I'm happy to hear that things sound like they're going very well for you, and it sounds like he's got a great mother. So that's very cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Definitely. So you grew up in California. Have you ever left California? Have you ever lived anywhere else other than Sacramento?
No, I've been to North and South Carolina, but that's about it.
Okay, well, that's a coast to coast move right there. Hanging out there for. I actually lived in what part of Carolina did you? I lived in North Carolina for a bit, for 3 years.
Lenore.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's like in the woods. Like,
Okay.
don't go out at night. There might be a serial killer just out there.
Yeah, well, being a Yankee, you don't want to really wander around the woods in North Carolina. So I avoided all non-lit places, we'll say.
Yeah.
I remember when I moved to Charlotte when I was 21. And I literally turned 21 in the next week. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do something new for a bit. I had no direction in life, and I'm like, why not just do something new? Let's get weird, So I moved to Carolina, and I lived with this girl who, because it was like a snap decision. I'm like, I got nothing going on. I was with my friends this one night, and I'm like, I'm going to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. And they're like, what? And I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm going. And then immediately, went on this. It was a website called roommates.com, believe it or not. I don't even know if it's still a thing. And it was kind of like a Facebook, but for finding roommates. You know what I mean? Like, you had a profile, and, it was like maybe more like a match.com kind of thing, And this girl was looking for a place, and we were the same age. So I was like, we talked a couple times, and I'm like, all right, maybe she doesn't sound like she's going to kill me. So, all right, let's do it, So I moved in with her, and it was, strictly platonic. She's very cool. Shout out to Erica if you're listening. I'm sure she's not. But, the first day we moved there, she was from a place called Waxhaw, North Carolina. That name just sounds like it's Southern, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, Brian, and she brings all her friends over, and I'm like a circus animal with my accent. They're like, Brian, oh my God, I can't believe that you moved to North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, woo. So she's like, she goes, Brian, I'm going to take you to a bar. You're going to love it. It's where we grew up. It's where we go. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm down, Well, like 40 minutes into the vastness of North Carolina, we go. And I'll never forget this because I was a 21-year-old. I'm still an idiot, but this was 15 years ago, so I was more idiot-y.
Yeah.
I remember we walk into this. The building was honest to God, it was a temporary building. It was like one of those like tin buildings, you know what I mean, with like a dirt floor. I'm like, what is this? And we walk up to the bouncer, and I give him my New York ID. I'll never forget this. He looks at it. He looks at me. He looks at it. He looks at me again. And he goes, y'all Yankee? And I was like, I'm from New York. I don't know. And he's like, just remember. And he looked at me dead in the eyes. And he goes, just remember, you're a long way from the Mason-Dixon line. Mason-Dixon line? What the hell? Like, I haven't heard that since 7th grade. What are you talking about, man? So I remember I walked in. There's this giant Confederate flag on the wall. And I did not open my mouth. I stood there and got blackout hammered by myself, and then I got a ride home.
Oh my God.
So that was my first experience in North Carolina. Yeah, that was pretty wild. So when you were like, there's probably some serial killers out there, or people looking for people from the north, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a crazy experience. That was a freaking crazy experience. And but once I never left the city of Charlotte again, I had a great time. So shout out to Charlotte. I miss it.
Yeah, I've been there. The only real experience I had is every guy would come up to me and be like, you have a cute accent. I'm like, I don't have an accent. It's you, buddy. You got the accent.
Y'all have a cute accent here. See, I never connected with any of the guys down there because, as friends, reason being, we never had anything in common. You know what I mean? They seem very serious. Like the country guys down there, they seem very straight. Don't y'all disrespect me. Where I'm, in New York, all my friends, if you were to see a conversation with my friends, you would think these people they hate each other. You know what I mean? And they're like so when someone says something nice to me, I'm just like, wait, what? That's not, you're supposed to not be nice to me.
If I'm not bagging on you, I don't like you.
Yeah. So I'd be like, it'd be like a friend of mine from the Carolina, and they'd be like, shut up, you moron. And he'd be like, yo, excuse me. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Like, oh, crap.
X Chibis X says, hi, baby Ashley.
TV's high.
Yeah, and I know I nailed the pronunciation there, so I think I will take full credit for that. Thank you.
No worries.
So you're working the 2 jobs. You're a Twitch affiliate. So what's on the horizon? Are there any new games that you're looking forward to coming out? Are there any new ones coming out with the Xbox? Uh-oh, I see that nod. That was like a violent "I'm ready" nod.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
What is it?
Assassin's Creed
Oh,
Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay.
All my money gone. I bought like the $110 edition with all the extended DLCs. That's what we're streaming.
Nice. So is that
Yeah.
going to take away from Dawn of the Dead? Don't know what the name of the game is. I keep forgetting.
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. It's a D one. I remember that.
Not entirely. I will incorporate like maybe an hour stream of Dead by Daylight, but we're going full blown for Assassin's Creed because I'm so excited for it.
That's well, Chibi's angry at you. She says you forgot to say you were going live. So that's on you. That's on you, girl.
That's a me issue.
So when you transition to a new game like that, have you transitioned to a new game since you started streaming? Like, your first one is, kind of the mainstay of your stream. Have you veered away from that as your main one since you started streaming?
I try not to. I try my best not to, but sometimes I'll get in a real like mode where I'm just obsessed with Apex Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, sorry guys, we're going to do Apex Legends for like a week.
That happens to me too. I mean, we're in this because we love gaming in the first place. So it's pretty hard to 100% focus your attention to one game because it's like, ooh, a new game, ooh, a new game, ooh, a new game. Like I'm one of the Fall Guys losers. Like I love Fall Guys, and I would stream that 24/7 if I could. I'd rather just get up and play that instead of ride my bike. But I got to realize that I actually am an athlete and I need to practice my bike.
Yeah.
But that's I say a lot, so I apologize. I don't mean to say This kind of like I'm thinking. So
You're fine. I did the same.
Everyone's got a thing, right? That's my thing. So with Assassin's Creed coming out, when's that coming out?
I think they said November 11th.
Okay.
Something 11, 10, 13, something
It'll be
like
a good
that.
distraction after the everything collapses after the election. You know what I mean? It'll be good to just hunker down with Assassin's Creed and just forget about the world, right?
Oh yeah, murdering people, best. Get my anger out.
Get some stress. That's right. That's exactly right. Ashley is literally the best person alive, Chibi said. So I feel really lucky that I was able to land the best person alive on an interview. Wow, this is great. This is really something special here.
Thank you.
So have you played any other of the Assassin? I mean, obviously you've played the other Assassin's Creeds, right? If you're all jacked up for this one.
Yeah, I get a lot of slack from my friends. So I went not Origins. I did 1, 2. I got halfway through 3, and I kind of skipped Black Flag and like a few others, and then I came back to Origins, and then Odyssey, and now Valhalla when it comes out. I have a hard time when they incorporate guns. Because
Okay.
I'm not fast and I'm not smart with it.
Well, I was interviewing his name's Forrest Crunk. Not his real name, believe it or not. That's his Twitch name. But he talking to him about Call of Duty, and he's a big Call of Duty guy. And what I like to do too is having these interviews and talking with people. I like to have people on about games that I don't know shit about because I'm the kind of person who I like watching people who are really good at what they do and passionate. If I have no knowledge about it or don't know anything about it, I just like to see people doing passionate stuff, So
Yeah.
everyone I interview, I follow and I support, and I'll put you on my, when I'm not here, go to this person. You know what I mean? Like I always do that because like you said earlier, we want to support each other. We want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can and propping the whole community up. But anyway, with the Call of Duty, like he was saying, with the guns and the skill that it takes, and he's talking about all these statistics, and he's like, you can't shoot and stand still. You got to be running and you got to be aiming, while you're running. And I'm like, I'll just stick with Mario, man. It sounds nuts.
Yeah, this new one, Warfare, Warzone, I am just pulling my hair out.
I watched some of your clips. I mean, you're good. You're definitely good. I mean, have you ever seen The Office? Have you ever gotten into that show, or were you into that show at all?
A little bit, yeah.
So when Jim is playing Call of Duty and he's in the corner and he's just like pointing his gun up in the corner, like that's me. I get frustrated. I'm like, give me a controller. I want like an A, B, X, Y, up, down. Let's go. And it's just that's kind of my thing. Yeah. Once it gets into that kind of stuff, I'm like, I can't do that.
Unfortunately, I think the reason why my community likes to watch me play those battle royale games is because I will get kills that are not really explainable. So people are just like, how the hell did you do that? I'm like, I don't know, science.
It's magic. It's magic, yeah. Bitch. Don't ask any questions.
Exactly. It just happened.
I tried getting into the Call of Duty. I was trying to get into the World War II one. And I got to a point where I was playing the story mode. And I was at the point where I was gonna rip what little hair I have left out of my head. I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and it just wasn't enjoyable for me. And my friends are like obsessed with it. I'm talking like, I'm gonna blow up his spot here. He claims he had to get a hotel because his electricity or his Wi-Fi went down, and he needed it for work. I know he needed it to get on his call with his boys to do some runs on Call of Duty. So I'm looking at you. You know what I'm talking about. But that's how my friends are with Call of Duty. And I honestly, I couldn't care less about it. But having said that, I like watching people play it because it is interesting to see how into it people are and how good they are. Like some of these highlights, you see like they'll jump out of a helicopter and just like do a 180 spin and shoot someone from a mile away. It's like, what is going on here? How long have you been playing this game? This is insane. So of all the Call of Duties, which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite one?
To be honest, no, they all annoy me equally.
That's a good way to put that. That's a good way to put that. I like that. That's funny.
Thanks.
So the Assassin's Creed Valhalla's coming out. Do you ever play any PC games? Like, do you have any like Steam or anything like that?
I haven't touched a PC in a while. I'm kind of a nerd. The last kind of games that I have played on the PC was with my dad, and I played Eve with him in Elite Dangerous.
I don't even know what those are, so that's not saying much though. So before you roast me, I don't know anything. Like I haven't seen a single superhero movie. I haven't seen a Harry Potter movie. I haven't seen. I never see movies. So when I don't know something, it's basically like not knowing what the color blue is. Like I don't know anything.
Yeah. So it's. I don't know how to explain it. You're spaceships. You're going around conquering planets, and it's just a slow game. And you have to be strategic, and you fight other people. And
see, I like that stuff though. I got into Warcraft for a little bit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I played semi-pro football and I played professional indoor football. So sentences like I got into Warcraft for a while, didn't go over well in the locker room. Now that my career's over, I can openly talk about these things on the internet. I couldn't be, the little guy in the locker room like, hey, I played Warcraft last night. So Chibi said you are literally a beast at Dead by Daylight, and she was very angry that I have not seen Harry Potter. Luckily, I'm immune to people being angry at me for not having seen Harry Potter because it happens to me almost daily. So, Chibis, what's the relationship here? Is she get on your streams and just likes you?
She's my best friend. I look
Best friend?
at her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's
She's
nice
like a
to
little
have you.
sister.
It's nice to have you, Chibis. Chibby's ex. So what else don't we know about you? How about this? Let's say people want to start a Twitch stream, okay? What advice would you give them? Because you nailed it. I mean, it took you only a couple months to get there. So that's pretty much a lot faster than than I'd say most people. So what advice would you say that, would you think would be valuable to a new streamer?
For the first part of your streaming time, your family is going to be your biggest supporter. And it may be scary at first, but branch out. Go on Twitter. Let people know that you do exist. Let people know that you do stream, because then that's when you meet amazing people that are further and more advanced than you that want to help
You just want to see your name real quick. That's all. Just said Ashley. Bam.
And that's my advice.
Chibis says you're full of it, and she says that she helped you. That's how you got there.
Exactly. She's family.
I guess it is. Yeah. That's good advice. I think that's really good advice. I remember when I started watching YouTube videos like nonstop about like advice, and there's so much advice out there. There really is. But I remember one of the things that really stuck with me. I forgot who it was who said it because I watched constant videos. But one of them was like, just be genuine. People know when you're not being genuine. It's obvious when you're doing a shtick or, do you know what I mean? Like, especially you're going to be talking for hours. So
Exactly.
It's hard to just be some weird thing. Like, be genuine. There's a lot of value in that. People care about hearing your story. I think there's a lot of value to developing relationships and learning about the people that you're working with as well, the people in your community. I mean, for me, it was my boss, would call and check in the quarantine or whatever. So I actually worked in pro sports when the quarantine hit. I worked for a major league soccer team here in Dallas, FC Dallas. And no longer, because I was in group sales, and selling groups of 10 or more to professional sporting events is not really peak industry right now,
Yeah.
But my boss would call in and talk to me, and he'd be like, so how are things? What's going on? And it was when I was starting to get into this, and he's like, so you ride your bike in your room and people watch. And I'm like, if you want to boil it down like that, yes. And it's like, you can't explain it. So, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with video games. You're like, I play video games and people watch. Like, if you want to boil it down to its most basic thing, yes, that's what it is. But it's so much more than that. It's the community that's, especially now with everything that's going on, I think people are searching for that sense of community. And, this is just such a good support system to know that, and, these people that you kind of, you vibe with are going to be there for you to interact with, and you bond over a game. So I think that's the really cool thing about this whole situation. I was going to ask you, so with your crazy schedule, I was going to ask you this a while ago and I forgot. With your crazy schedule that you have going on and your busy life, do you have a set schedule that you stick to, or is it, do you maybe have one or two that you stick to, or how's that?
Right now has been a little tricky. For a bit, I deal with chronic migraines. So for a while, I wasn't streaming a lot. And then I just got off my 2-week quarantine because I thought I had COVID.
Well, welcome back.
And then as I was getting better from COVID, on Wednesday, my cousin, who was like a sister to me, passed.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. And I couldn't be there because I was sick.
Oh.
So I haven't been streaming. and I don't think I'm going to stream for at least another day. But because of my child and because of work, 10 p.m. seems to be the easiest time for me because I'm home, I've had dinner, the kids asleep, I can sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
And then Fridays and Saturdays, I try to do 9:30, and then Sundays 1.
Well, with everything you have going on, I really appreciate you coming on here. You know, it's I know it's pretty tough when you lose someone. I lost my dad a couple years ago, so
I'm sorry.
yeah, I did. Well, same thing. You know, it's life, right? It's gonna happen. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that. Seriously, thanks for coming on. It probably wasn't easy for you, you know, but maybe take your mind off it for a little bit, right? And
Definitely did.
as I say that, we're talking about it, so obviously it's. Yeah, the schedule thing. It's tough. So, do you pay attention to a lot to your stats on Twitch, like your average viewers or whatever statistics they throw at you and your analyzation page or whatever the hell they call it?
I think that that's also another tip. I tend to not worry about the blue bar when I'm streaming, like who's watching, how many people. Like, I'll make sure I'm interacting with people that comment on it, but when I check my stats, it's here and there.
Mm-hmm. I never look at them. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah.
A lot of these questions that I ask you are purely from, I just want to see how other people are doing it. Just because so many people get to where they get to in so many different ways. I find it interesting. And if the advice from anybody that is better or just having success, I eat that up like a sponge. So a lot of these questions that I ask are just, I'm thinking off the top of my head, I'm like, yeah, I don't ever look at my stats. I look at the email. Like, I get the email, and I'm just go, oh, all right, and I delete it. I'm like, I'm not going to, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to be like, yo, mom, my fiance, the threes, you get on and you follow me so I can get that average of 3. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like that. It's I want it to be natural and organic,
Yeah, and the only time I really dive into my stats is like if I'm playing a new game for more than 2 days, or if I haven't been on and then I start streaming again after like 2 weeks of being off and I start streaming consecutively. Mm-hmm. I'll see like how I'm doing from when I stopped streaming.
Gotcha.
Just to kind of see how my base is. Mm-hmm. But I tend to not really look at it because I feel like it can consume you.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, for sure. That's right.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely right. People can get in the weeds about the stats, and then you start thinking of, like, you start overthinking everything, and then I think it goes back to like what we were talking about. Then it starts to become not organic. Then it starts like you're trying to play to the masses, right? You're trying to play to what you think people want, and people know that. People know when they're being sold, and then it's just like, ugh. People aren't going to want to be around that, and then it just kind of is like a self-eating mechanism that you create, and it's self-destruction. So Chibis, by the way, she said, you're such a good inspiration. She literally proved that no matter how many things are wrong, you always got to look at the bright side. So she said that a while ago, but I didn't want to interject our conversation. So I just wanted to point that out, though, that she is a big fan of you. So that's very nice. Very nice.
That's good, because I'm a fan of her.
Awesome. Wow, this is a big love fest. I love it on a Friday night. Now, are you nervous at all about switching games in terms of? Because for me, like, Zwift is never going to go away. I'm always going to ride my bike. You know what I mean? They're always going to build courses. They're always going to like improve upon this platform, but it's never going to go away. So I know for the foreseeable future, I'll always have that. I always think about that in the gaming, the gamers, you're always thinking next move, you know what I mean? So when Assassin's Creed release date is, are you prepping people that are in your community like, hey, this is going to kind of turn into an Assassin's Creed stream, or you know what I mean? Do you think like that, or am I totally off base?
I've mentioned it quite a few times. I think once we get closer, I'm going to have to remind everybody. But so grateful. My community seems to just flow with me. There are some people that are like, hey, you haven't played Dead by Daylight in a while. Maybe next time you stream it. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. But my community has been beyond amazing.
That's awesome.
When I do something funny, they make fun of me, which is how I want it.
That's what I was telling you earlier. You know what I mean? If they're not roasting you, they don't love you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, I do get stuck because sometimes playing Dead by Daylight is just kind of, and doing anything else is just kind of, so like on Instagram or Twitter, I'll be like, okay, guys, you take over. What do you want to see?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell me, and I'm like, okay, on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do a lot of Twitter polls. I'll do Twitter polls.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm playing a random game tonight. You want Fall Guys? You want Paper Mario? Or you want Mario Kart? You know, and then I'll listen to them. We play very different games. What I was gonna say too is I had a funny little anecdote. What you were just saying. I have I feel so bad. So it's not that bad, but so when I first started on Twitch, you want to make fun of me. So I got started on Twitch not from the bike. I got started on Twitch because there's a game called Jerry Rice and Nidus Dog Football. That's as ridiculous as it sounds. Yeah. It's a game where, for some reason, Jerry Rice put his name on this game. I don't know why. And it's basically a quarterback is the human, and the rest of the players are dogs. And, right. That face is the correct face to be making as we talk about this game. So it's this ridiculous game. And what I did is I started live streaming and try to hook up a Wii to a live stream. There are all kinds of cords and connections and connected, all kinds of nonsense I had to buy. And I'm watching a YouTube video of like an 8-year-old from like 10 years ago explaining how to hook it up. You know what I mean? I felt like the biggest dope in the world doing this. And my first couple of streams, I'm playing puppy football, and obviously no one wants to watch this nonsense. And I'm doing it to an audience of one, and it's my friend from back home. And I'm doing this for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, and I was hanging out at the pool with my buddy the one day, and he's like, as funny as this game is, people don't give a shit. Like, they don't want to watch this, And he's like, but the conversation was, he goes, you got to be like either really funny, which I'm not, or really good at something for people to watch. And he's like, that's at least my opinion. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it, and then I'm thinking about Zwift, and then I came across Zwift, and I'm like, well, I'm on Team USA. I'm a good cyclist. That's where it happened. So anyway, it's a long story. So I still play, like I said, a lot of the Mario games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I played Mario Kart on the Switch for Mario Kart 8 for maybe 3 weeks, pretty hot and heavy. I was doing cup runs, and I'd sit down an hour or two at a time, and this poor kid from Portugal, his name was Fur1268 or something like that, and this poor kid, you could tell he was in high school. He's like, I do my homework, but I like watching you because I just talk like a moron the whole time, and he's like, he loved watching me. Well, I stopped playing Mario Kart, and for a solid 2 weeks, every time I'd get on my bike, he'd come in and he'd be like, and he could barely speak English. He'd be like, no Mario Kart? Every day for 2 weeks.
Oh, poor guy.
I felt so bad because he was he set alerts on for me, and he was in my head, I had visions of this kid rolling out of bed, ooh, go for the goldies on. And then he goes to watch, and I'm just huffing on my bike. And he's just no Mario Kart. I'm upset. Yeah, so that's where I was. I even forgot the story you said, but yeah, that's I felt bad for that kid. But if you're listening, we'll get back to Mario Kart at some point. Stupid, so stupid. But do you play any Mario games? You never got into that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My official first shows how young I am. Nintendo item console was a GameCube.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
if you said like a like a Wii U or something, then I would have been like, what are you, 4? Like
Well, actually,
GameCube. Okay, I can live with that. Yeah, I told you I'm old, so my first Nintendo was the Nintendo. So I'm old.
I mean, you're not that old. I'm gonna be 25 on Tuesday.
Okay, so we're at least within 10 years of each other. So we
Yeah.
didn't pass I'm not past a decade, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm one of those cool older millennials. You know what I mean? Like I'm hip. Right? I just said hip, so I'm not cool. Man. Yeah, we have this talk all the time. So do you consider yourself a millennial? What are you? A 25-year-old?
I think technically I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so jumbled, because I think about a 34-year-old, like when I was growing up, a 34-year-old was not playing video games. You know what I mean? Like a 34-year-old had like 7 kids and he's grinding his 9 to 5 and he didn't talk to him and he got home because daddy was angry. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
So times are changing. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't even know. As a 34-year-old, like I guess I'm a millennial, but I don't know. It seems
I
like
think you're on the cusp.
weird to say, I was born in 86, so I don't know whatever that is, but I mean,
Yeah.
to bring up September 11th, I remember I was in 10th grade when that happened. So, yeah, that puts it in perspective, right?
I think I was in first grade.
There you go. Yeah. Even my fiance, she's what, 4 years younger than me. So even she's like, I was in middle school and you were in a second year high school. Gross.
Yeah, that's
Is that weird to think about? If I told a 6th grader, and 20 years ago, like, you're gonna the guy you're gonna marry is in 10th grade right now. He'd be like, oh, what a creep.
It's funny how it changes when you're older.
It does, right? I remember in 10th grade, Chibis is making fun of me because I said hip. Leave me alone. Don't be part of the hate.
Oh.
I remember when September 11th happened, this is a real sign of the times. They wheeled in the TV because you had to reserve the TVs, and it was a giant TV, and it was on a cart, strapped down like someone's going to freaking steal it. Who the hell's stealing a 500-pound TV? And they'd wheel it in, and we heard something was going on. And then as the planes, the first plane had hit, and I'll never forget the girl behind me. And you may not even, this isn't even a joke, she said this, but you may not even get this. She goes, I guess TRL's not going to be on tonight. Do you know what TRL is?
Yeah.
Total Request Live? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was how we knew what was cool. You'd rush home from school and you'd watch the top 10 music videos,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was her first reaction to 9/11. I'll never forget that. It was like one of those, we're watching the devastation of the day, and then she says that. We're like, what world are you living in that you just said that? That is complete insanity. So Sanford Skip 36 says it was Pokemon. Oh, I love Pokemon. I'm a big Pokemon fan too.
Yeah.
Again, we'll add that to the list of things you don't proclaim when you're on a professional football roster. So you like Pokemon too?
Yeah.
See, there you
I got
go.
a whole collection of cards, like in the packs.
Hell
nice
yeah.
And, yeah.
That's
all
what
perfect.
I'm talking about. There we go. So what? You can't get your fix though on Xbox, right? They don't have it for Xbox, do they?
No, but I got my Switch.
Oh, you have a Switch. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Whew, okay. Always right. So have you played any of the newer ones?
I have not, unfortunately. Although I am a dweeb, you'll see me on my phone and they'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm on Pokemon Go. Leave me alone.
What's the problem? Yeah.
I'm catching Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do that especially. I catch a lot of Pokemon at Target for sure because I have no interest in being a Target, but I find myself there quite a bit.
Yeah. You kind of just drag yourself there.
Yeah. My fiance, Jeez, I don't know what the infatuation is with Target, but I catch a lot of Pokemon there. I beat Sword, and
Okay.
yeah, I would say. I mean, that was my first time playing a Pokemon game in a long time. So I haven't, I'm talking since like maybe even the Game Boy. Like I haven't played it in a long time.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it was sweet. It was fun. It's the one critique I will say. It seems like the people who are creating the Pokemon have just given up on creativity. There's
Yeah.
like an ice cream one. It's like, okay, it's just an ice cream cone. It's like, come on. And then it's like vanilla ice, vanilla mean. It's like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like you put zero effort into this. Let's go. Come on. You're smarter than this.
Honestly, sign me up because they're getting paid a lot for that. So
They are getting paid.
I could be just as uncreative.
Boatloads of money for that. Yeah, that is correct. I would suggest Sword, though. That was pretty sweet. I don't know the difference between there's Sword and Shield. I mean, the story as you go along, I guess, I don't know. The other one would be, I don't understand the difference between the two, but I did Sword. I got to buy there's an expansion pack, too, that just came out. So you got to get on that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, see, once Nintendo dropped the 35-year birthday or celebration thing, the minute I saw Super Mario Sunshine was in that pack, my money's going towards that.
What it was, the N64 version, Odyssey, and Sunshine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately I literally just bought Super Mario Maker 2 on Friday, so I missed the boat on the damn anniversary one, but I'll wind up getting that too. What games do you play on Switch? What's your favorite?
I play Animal Crossing.
I love Animal Crossing. I'm so happy you said that.
I'm so behind on it though.
Yeah, we paid off our loan on like our house. Like we got the biggest house you can have, so we kind of have been slacking. Yeah, we went all in on AC. We went all in.
I just got my second room, but you know what? It's okay because I have a canvas of Gordon Ramsay on my wall, so we're fine.
How did
It's
you
okay.
get that? How did you get that?
I did a lot of Pinterest searching.
At some point, we are going to swap dodo codes, and we're going to come visit that because that sounds incredible.
Deal.
Yeah, I remember when lockdown literally first happened. I'm talking the first weekend. No one knew what the hell was going on. It was like, is this a week? Is this a month? I mean, it's September and we still don't know what's going on. We had no idea. So I'm like, honey, we're getting a Switch. We're going all in on this because you're sick of me playing Grand Theft Auto, and let's get into something together. Because I'm going to be playing a lot of video games. So
Yeah.
ironically, I went to Target and got the last Switch they had, and the Pokemon theme song, which you don't know because you don't play it, but the bubblegum song in Animal Crossing. Have you come across that one yet?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, do not listen to that song because it will never leave your brain. They must have scientifically engineered it in a lab somewhere to never leave your head because it just stays there. And like we'll catch each other. We'll catch each other. Like, I'll be doing the dishes or something, and I'll just da-da-da-da-da-da, and she's like, "You're singing it," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ready.
There's some real bangers by KK Slider. So keep your heads up for that. What I love doing is when we play together. She'll be, because we made houses next to each other on the island. So like she'll be the primary and I'll be the primary, and But when I'm the secondary person, I'll grab the net and I just run around and I just beat the shit out of the Islanders with the net. And she gets, stop hitting the